Mom, where's mom? Where's my mom? Amma! Sabrina got stabbed as well. He stabbed her. He fucking stabbed her, that bastard!
Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this story comes from Oldham in Greater Manchester. Before we start, I'd like to pay my respects to the family of Tamby Dowling, who is 36 years old and lost her life on Monday, November the 8th. Residents have spoken to the local papers and expressed how terrifying it was the moment that they discovered that a woman had been killed on their own street. A neighbour described hearing screams before emergency services flooded the street, but sadly they could not save the woman and she died at the scene. There was a large police cordon shortly afterwards, and the family of the mum of 6 have paid tribute to her. Her mother and father have said that she was a kind-hearted person who would do anything for anyone. She leaves behind 6 children who she was adored by, and everybody is devastated that this has happened. I received CCTV earlier today from the property as well on a Ring doorbell that shows the aftermath of the scene. Another 16-year-old girl was also injured in this incident as well, but her injuries were not life-threatening, although she was taken to hospital. Tributes have poured in and a fundraiser has raised over £7,000 in 16 hours. And police arrested a 34-year-old male at the scene, and he was in custody for a day and a half before the police said that he's now been referred to medical experts and he's been sectioned under the Mental Health Act. They have also gone on to say that this is an isolated incident and they are not looking for anybody else in relation to this case. So from that we can make out that this was potentially a domestic related incident, and the man is known to the woman and the family. But to actually comprehend what it must be like for these children right now to not understand what's going on. But we don't have any confirmation on who the male was, the connection to the family. This story is a couple of days old and it's still developing, and I'll definitely keep you updated on what does happen and what the final conclusion is. I send my condolences again to the family, and please pay your respects in the comments below. Sadly, violence against women is something that we've been living with day to day, and it seems to have been getting worse, especially through lockdown. Statistics have revealed the major rise in domestic violence related incidents, and I've definitely covered several different stories to do with domestic arguments during lockdown that have led to different situations occurring. And also in general, violence against women as well is still a big issue, and just because the mainstream media are not talking about it as much, it doesn't mean that it isn't still an issue. In this other story coming from Bolton, a man has been jailed after he attempted to rape a woman at knife point while she walked to work on Silverwell Street. Jonathan Cabala from Chadwick Street, Bolton, was sentenced at Bolton Crown Court to 6 years and 9 months in jail after being found guilty of kidnapping with intent to commit a sexual offence, also threatening someone with a bladed article and possession of a bladed article. The court heard that at 7 a.m. on Friday the 2nd of October 2020, the victim, who was aged in her 20s, was walking to work along Silverwell Street when she crossed paths with Cabala. He had been prowling the streets of Bolton that morning on the hunt for a victim, and he began to follow her directly that he was caught on CCTV. The woman approached church grounds on Silverwell Street, and Cabala rushed up behind her, dragged her across the church ground into a secluded bush area, and eventually pushed her to the floor. Believing that he was trying to rob her, the woman offered Cabala money in a desperate attempt to get him off her. But Cabala told her that he didn't want her money and pulled out a knife and placed it to her neck, before the victim was hit in the head with a travel mug that she had been carrying. Cabala then forced his hand over the victim's mouth to stop her screaming, but she was able to free herself from his grip and get to her feet. Cabala quickly dragged her back to the floor, but passers-by noticed, and this drew the attention of a man and a woman. The 2 witnesses intervened and called the police, and this allowed the victim the time to grab the knife from the man and throw it away. Cabala then calmly stood up and walked away from the churchyard. Throughout the attack, he grabbed the trousers of the victim multiple times. And following extensive CCTV inquiries that pinpointed his multiple locations in Bolton that morning, he was subsequently arrested and charged. PC Fairbrother from GMP Bolton said this was a terrifying ordeal for the victim, who was simply on her way to work. And I commend her bravery and the courage of the locals that helped her as well in this situation. They said that Cabana roamed the streets that day intent on finding somebody to assault. And sadly, this victim crossed his path. So truly terrifying example that was caught on camera, and it's very rare that this is actually caught on camera, and has been critical in getting the conviction. So I hope that victim from that story makes a full recovery and is able to move on with her life without feeling too much anxiety about the situation. So really appreciate you joining me for these stories. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And the website has now got no pop-up ads, and I've reduced the advertisements on there by 80%. I really appreciate all the feedback and support, and there will always be updates available across the social medias. Thank you. Peace.